The writing about historical memory is complicated for a variety of different reasons. The most important of which is because of a former colleague of mine, a really outstanding historian, a woman named Susan Schulten, who writes about the history of cartography. When I first began thinking about these sorts of issues, she said to me, "Isn't memory kind of squishy?" And I said, "I don't know exactly what you mean." And she said, "Well, maybe I mean squidgy." And I've really never forgotten that interaction. What she really meant was that she wasn't sure that there was a lot of solidity there, that there was a kind of intellectual firmament in which a scholar could root her or himself. And I think that there's some truth to that, but I tend to recast the squidginess and think that actually it's a kind of opportunity to do genuinely interdisciplinary work. Now, having said that, interdisciplinary work is itself a challenge. If you want to be reading in literary studies, if you want to be reading in psychology and in sociology, and as I did for the book that I wrote on the Sand Creek Massacre in neuroscience, it takes time and energy. In some instances, energy that I didn't necessarily have, but I tried. Nevertheless, it's complicated to do that kind of interdisciplinary work, and I don't think you can write about historical memory without engaging other disciplines. A second major challenge for writing about historical memory is a realization that I think most scholars who think about these issues eventually have, and that's that there is no unified memory, that there are memories, and that they are fractured even within particular communities. So I wrote about the way in which Native Americans, government officials in the state of Colorado, employees of the federal government and the national park system, and local people in a particularly rural part of the state of Colorado, the way in which all of them had very different ways of understanding a particular event, this massacre, the Sand Creek Massacre. And I was confronted over and over again with the fact that not only wasn't there a single kind of master narrative of Sand Creek that spanned across different communities, but again, even within these communities, there's no single unified memory of Sand Creek for Native Americans. There are multiple memories, and so the challenge ultimately became how to take all of these disparate memories and write something coherent about them. And that is the excuse that I'll use for why it took me so long to write the book.